Hi everybody, Simon here, hope you're well. Firstly I want to thank Samantha Rieu, the operational manager of Duke's Hotel London, for nominating me to do the Hospitality for Heroes Challenge, which is a James and Cranwell initiative to help our heroes in the NHS. A lot more details about how you can donate will be later on within the video, but also in the post. A really simple dish today, a family favourite. It's mozzarella stuffed Arancini balls. They are amazing. They're so simple to make. A couple of really easy things you need to do. First, make a really simple mushroom risotto. Okay, so to make the easy, simple risotto, this is a risotto for 2 people. Obviously, if you wanted it for 4 and you're going to have this as your lunch or your supper, you would obviously double those ingredients, or indeed just for 2. You would do the same and have it for lunch or supper. But what we're going to do is going to make the risotto and we're going to allow it to cool. So we start off with about 25 grams of unsalted butter. I prefer to put the seasoning in myself rather than let the butter do it. A little bit of olive oil, just maybe half a tablespoon, just to help that through. We've got some diced shallots. I'm going to have about a clove of garlic, which I'm going to grate through, and about 100 grams of mushrooms. One thing to remember with mushrooms, never wash them. Brush them, wipe them, clean them, but please don't wash them. They retain water and it becomes a completely different dish. And then we have some beautiful arboro rice. This is risotto rice. You can get that from all supermarkets, and even through some of the challenges we've experienced with COVID-19 and supply, I can absolutely tell you I've never ever run out of risotto rice. Then you've got about 350 grams of vegetable stock. You can use the cheap's way, which I've done, which is a stock cube, hot water, gently bring that to a heat, and then let it simmer through when we make the risotto. Or you can, of course, make your own vegetable stock using the peelings and the trimmings from the vegetables that you would have had for your lunch or dinner the previous day. Okay, so we're going to make the risotto. Sweat down the shallots with the butter and about half a tablespoon of the oil. Sweat them down for about 30 seconds to about a minute. Just get them nice and sweated, not to colour them. Then add in your rice. Now the rice goes into that. Please don't colour the rice. You should just keep that heat on a medium heat and just stir that in for about 3 minutes, constantly stirring, making sure that it's getting a lovely, almost goes into a glossy, translucent, shiny appearance. Once you're at that stage, you can put in your mushrooms, which you would have sliced, and your garlic, which you would have grated. Put that in and cook that down for about another 1 minute. Once all of that's happened, you'll add in your vegetable stock slowly. Now the vegetable stock needs to be warm, hot, not boiling. Add that in slowly, about a ladle full at a time, and as you put it in, mix, let it absorb, put it in, let it absorb, and eventually you've got all of the liquid in. And then let that cook gently on a medium-low heat for approximately 20 minutes. Might need a little bit more, a little bit less, just depends on the heat of your stove. But let that cook through, stirring very, very regularly through the process so that it doesn't stick and become a lump. So now, as you can see, the risotto is finished. We'll put that over there to cool, and we'll come back to that when it's nice and cold. Okay, so that risotto, we allowed it to cool first before we put it in the fridge. Never put anything hot in the fridge. So we allowed it to cool, then I put it into the fridge. And here it is. So now what I'm going to do is make the arancini. Okay, so we're just going to make the pane, French terminology, for flour, egg wash and breadcrumbs. Okay, so we have our cool risotto, mushroom risotto, and what I've got here is some mozzarella which I've cut into little cubes. No science on this at all, just little cubes. You'll see why you need them in little cubes in a moment. I'm going to leave that one just there. So with the risotto, you take a spoon of it. Now we like them quite big in our family. You can make small little delicate ones, you can make larger ones. I'm going to make larger ones. Put about a spoon of the risotto into your hand and just push that down gently, nothing too firm, just gently pushing that down. You're creating a bit of a well, a bit of an area for that cube of mozzarella to sit in. Now, you can put one, or if you're me, you can put 2. because I like 2 cubes. I like a lot of mozzarella. And then just bring that together. And the reason I'm wearing gloves is it stops the risotto sticking to my hands. And moreover, it's just a little bit more hygienic. And I think that's important too. So you've brought that together. You're bringing all of the risotto around the mozzarella. And you've got a lovely arancini ball. So we've made our arancini balls, the risotto filled with the mozzarella and then gently rolled into a ball. Then we put them in flour. We just roll them in flour gently and then through the egg wash and coat it very, very well because you want the breadcrumbs to stick. I always do these one at a time because it's just easier, less mess, a bit smarter. Make a bit of a well in the bottom, just for the ball to sit in. Gently, gently coat. No heavy-handed action required here. All very, very gentle. Just give that a lovely little squeeze and pop that on the tray and just keep doing that and then we'll go on to fry them. To know if the oil's hot, take your wooden spoon, just pop it in there, and if it starts to fizz as it is at the bottom there, you know that the oil is ready to start cooking. So we know the oil's nice and hot, ready for cooking. It's about 170 degrees is the temperature of the oil. Take the arancini, not too many in at the same time. Personally, I would do no more than 3, and the reason for that is if you put too many, the oil temperature goes down and you actually don't end up cooking them, you're more sort of boiling them. And that's not what we want to do. So in total, the arancini need to cook for about 3 minutes. So after about a minute or so, just turn them over gently. I always use 2 implements just because it makes life a bit easier for me. As you can see, turning a beautiful golden brown. We'll cook those for about another minute or so. And then, as you can see here, you've got a little bit of still uncooked. After about a minute, we'll just flip them onto their sides so that they all get a nice brown. And that is happening because these are the larger arancini as opposed to some of the smaller ones I've made as well. So after about 3 minutes, out of the oil, onto a bit of kitchen paper just to drain off the excess fat. I put it into the spoon and manhandle it like that. Just because I don't want to spill it and I don't want hot oil splashing up into my face. The other thing to say is I've used a high edge saucepan, even though there's only a small amount of oil, because again, I don't want it spitting over and making a mess and causing a problem. And here we are, so arancini done, fried, allowed to drain off a bit on the kitchen paper, and they're still nice and warm, ready to eat. Always advise that you eat them as soon as you make them, and eat as many as you can, because you'll find that your family will steal them from you. I've made a very, very simple tomato sauce to go with that. A little bit of shallots, some garlic, plum tomatoes, and a little bit of puree, a bit of wine. What I do there, and basil, I literally blitz it down, cook it, blitz it down, just much better with the arancini, a smooth sauce. So, I'd like to thank Samantha Rieu, the operational manager of Duke's, for nominating me for the Hospitality for Heroes challenge. My nominees for the challenge and the people that I'm nominating are Peter PITHAM from Contract Catering Bureau Consultancy, Noel MAHONY, who's the CEO of BAXTERSTOREY and PORTICO, and Thomas KILROY, Fellow of the Institute of Hospitality, as indeed are the other 2 gentlemen. Thank you very much. Please do donate. All of the details are on the link.